You know, one of the reasons I chose to retire in Taiwan, and in Kaohsiung specifically, is because one of the things that I love to do, is hike in the mountains. Taiwan's got a lot of mountains. So this will be my last, or my second last, video from Taiwan. So if you don't make it to the end, I just want to thank you for joining me in season 6 of Bob's Utopia. Today I'm out for a epic hike. I sometimes feel like I'm all alone in Taiwan. Just me and the birds. I'm okay with that. It's been an excellent 5 months, and when I leave it'll be 6 months. I'm so happy that Taiwan is part of my life. It's almost like a break from reality, or living part-time in a parallel universe. For me, living in Taiwan gives me lots of time to reflect on life. I have lots of alone time. I think it's important to spend time by yourself, without any inputs, without listening to podcasts or music, without watching YouTube videos, without reading a book. Just to spend time in nature. And Taiwan offers me lots of that, and I appreciate that. If you live in most places in Taiwan, it's not that hard to get to the mountains to go hiking. I know you can hike easily from public transportation in Taipei and in Taichung, in Chiayi, and in Kaohsiung, of course. And hiking's one little microcosm of life. Today when I'm hiking in the mountains, I'll probably see people I know, maybe talk to them. Hiking is like the internet. It's like YouTube. You can find your tribe. I mean, on the internet, on YouTube, there are tribes for everything. Like, who'd have thought that backyard wrestling would be so popular? It's kind of a redneck sport, but it gets a lot of views. It's actually quite revealing when you look at what is in your YouTube feed, or more notably, what's in your YouTube history for the last couple of days. It changes, but it is a good reflection about what you're interested in at this time. Currently I'm interested in things I'm not normally interested in. I don't like it that I'm so interested in Canadian and in world news at the moment. I don't like being connected to the news. When I watch the news, I feel like I'm being controlled. And I have no control over the stuff that's controlling me. Try to put stuff I can't control out of mind. Live a peaceful life, not a reactionary one. A few years ago I was consumed by the news. I was watching it all the time, reading it. Reading about COVID, American politics, world politics, the housing market. And the thing about reading the news and watching the news and listening to the news and being well informed is that you would think that you'd be a better predictor of what is going to happen by knowing what is actually happening. But in reality, my experience is I didn't get any better at predicting what was going to happen. And in terms of politics and other things, I think playing the tough guy is actually the easiest role to play. I mean, you can talk tough and you can act tough. It's easy to be the tough guy, intimidate other people. But it's probably not the best approach. The best approach is a win-win approach, a conciliatory approach. I mean that in business, in politics, and really in life. But some people think there's some zero gain to things, and some people don't. Some people think there's a win-win involved. A win-win is better than a win-loss. It's all a matter of perspective. Do you have a scarcity mindset, or do you have a mindset of abundance? In terms of the news, I think you should have a clear concept of what's going on in the world. Big picture stuff. The little details don't really matter as much. But you can't only get your news from one place. You can't surround yourself in your own little echo chamber. And news happens, whether you're paying attention to it or not. But life goes on either way. I remember years ago, I was living in a grass hut in Thailand when the Berlin Wall came down. And I was wondering why all the Europeans were getting so excited about things and reading the newspaper. It took me a while to figure out how momentous that was. To the news is so that you can react to it in real time. So predicting the future is very hard, no matter how much information you have. So what's better is looking back at the past and the decisions you made to lead you to the point you are. And if you do that, you'll see how nebulous, how changeable things really are. Because sometimes it's just a chance decision, just a random thought acted upon that pivots your future life in big ways too. A 1% change in direction over time can lead you to a much different place. So the fact of the matter is, I am here and this is now. Or put another way, we are here and this is now. And how we got here, you can look at one of two ways. One is, I've been preparing my whole life for this moment. The other is, this moment in time is exactly as important or unimportant as every other moment that's come before it, and every other random moment that follows it. Okay, so here's a hiking video. I am going to miss this hike when I return to Canada next month. The thing about living in Taiwan for me is that every day I pretty much wear myself out, both physically and on days like this, mentally as well. And that is a great feeling. I remember reading somewhere that there's a Chinese curse that says, "May you live in interesting times." these are interesting times. The future is not what we were promised. And let's face it, it's naive to think it would be. You know, for me personally, it's been an interesting year. My first year of retirement. And the last 5 months in Taiwan. And my priorities haven't changed. The only thing that's really changed is the scenery. I guess that's a good thing. That's a good way to look at it too. It's been a good season. When I started out this season in October, the end of October, I had about 6,600 subscribers. I've mostly doubled that. I'm up to 12,000. I was at 6,000. I feel pretty good about that. I made some new friends. I've had lots of positive comments. I've learned a lot about Taiwan, about Taiwanese, and about myself. It kept me busy in the evenings with editing. I'm busy in the daytime with recording videos. I'm not going to continue this channel in Canada this year because last year I tried it and my viewership dropped off quite substantially. I was essentially getting 1/10 of the views that I got in Taiwan, which is really interesting because you'd think that you'd drop off a little bit, but not by 90%. I have 3 groups of subscribers on this channel. The first group is, the biggest group is Taiwanese who live in Taiwan, mostly in Kaohsiung. And these are people who might see me and I might see them on a regular basis in the mountains or in my neighborhood or at the harbor. The second group, it's a smaller group, but still a large number of overseas Taiwanese. And these people are the Taiwanese who 20 years ago or longer moved to the USA or Canada, or in some cases to Europe or Australia. And they watch the videos, I think mostly because they're homesick for Taiwan. And that's a good reason. Because I'll often get a comment about a certain place, a certain view, and that's pretty cool. And then the third group of subscribers are foreigners who have some connection to Taiwan, and that connection is usually through marriage. So they've either lived in Taiwan personally, or their wife or sometimes husband is from Taiwan, and they're coming to Taiwan, or they've been to Taiwan, and they have some connection to Taiwan that they are in some way making a little deeper. And these are my favorite subscribers because those ones are most like me. So I understand why when I return to Canada my viewership drops by 90%. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so that's it for season 6. I'll be back in Taiwan either later this year or early next year. Until then, it's been wonderful. Thanks for joining me.